Derek, you had a question about the Perth property market that you'd like to ask Bryce. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Yes, I do actually. Look, I currently have a property in Perth, south of Perth, about 40 minutes south. My question is obviously the market's taken a bit of a slump due to the mining downturn, and what's the predictions on the turnaround of the WA market?
Yeah, good question, Derek. Perth's my hometown, so I'm certainly hoping that market goes well because it'll look after my inheritance. But I think one of the things about the Perth market is it's stopped sort of having negative or falls in prices, and I guess the sentiment's been up for the first time in a little while, but I think it's just going from price falls to going flat. So it really, for me, anyone who is thinking about investing in the Perth market, it's all about time frame for me, because long term I think you'll be fine. I think the mining sector is picking up a little bit. I think that Perth is currently the fourth most popular city in the country, but it will overtake Brisbane in the next 20 years. So long term you'll be fine, but if you've got a short term horizon for retirement, I'd be a little bit cautious, because despite the positive sentiment, there's still high vacancies in the CBD in the 20% plus. So jobs, the job outlook isn't fantastic. So I'm keeping, as a business, we're keeping an eye on Perth and think that there's potential because it has hit the bottom. But if your outlook is short term, I'd be cautious. If your outlook is long term, I think there's a really good opportunity to pick up good blue chip properties in the blue chip suburbs with reasonable sort of protection from any downside.
How's that, Derek? Did you have any further questions for Bryce on that one? Did that make some sense?
No, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need here, actually. No, I appreciate it, guys.
There you go.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much, Derek. Great to have you on the phone. Thanks for calling in. All right, we'll move on to our second question now. This one is from Kate in Maroubra in New South Wales, and she says, I'm interested in the panel's view. Oh, sorry, no, we've just done that one. I should have skipped ahead there. Here we go. My husband and I are ready to downsize from our Maroubra home after 17 years. The house is in fairly good condition, but the bathrooms and kitchen are pretty shabby. Should we spend the money to put in a new kitchen and bathrooms before we sell, or is it better to leave those to a new owner who might want to do their own thing? Veronica, do you want to chip in on this one? I'm sure you've got an opinion.
Of course I've got an opinion. But I didn't have one on WA, so thanks, Bryce. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Right, okay. Should you renovate the kitchen or bathroom if you're preparing to sell? It's a really good question, because sometimes the answer is yes and other times the answer is no. And of course, any questions I'm asked, there's never a straight answer for most of them. The thing is...
I'll second that.
The idea of leaving things for other people, it's a nice idea, but it often doesn't work. And when I say it often doesn't work, it's because if you are selling in an area where people aren't particularly wanting to renovate, there's no point leaving something for other people to do, because they just won't do it and they won't buy your house either. However, the other thing too about fixing up a bathroom or the kitchen, if it's in the wrong spot in the house, then there is no point fixing it. That's when you've got to leave it for somebody else to renovate the house property and relocate. If the bathroom's in the wrong spot, for argument's sake, or the kitchen. So it really depends where it is located. And secondly, it's about taste. So if you are going to renovate it in order to sell better, you've got to make sure that it appeals to the local buyers. So therefore, the best way to get the answer to that question is to get, say, 2 or 3 local agents in and get their opinion.
Right. Bryce, what would you say to that? Would you say it's generally a good idea to have your bathroom and kitchen looking as presentable as possible before you let a potential buyer through the house?
Yeah, look, I agree with Veronica on that, but kitchens sell houses, so you'd need to do a little bit of research to see if you could make an investment where you're spending $1 and you get $2 back from your investment, because someone has an emotional response to your house, and as Veronica says, you keep it in neutral taste. I think that just makes good economic sense. But as Ronnie said, if it's in the wrong spot, or it's a house that is going to be a development site that someone's going to knock over and fix it up later, it's just throwing money away for no benefit. But based on the information we've got here, and assuming that the kitchen is in the right place, I'd want to tastefully renovate it if there's an opportunity that for every dollar you spend, you can get more than that back, because it's obviously going to mean that come auction day, or if it's private treaty, the price that you get will be higher because someone's fallen in love with the property and made an emotional decision to pay more.
Right, yeah, and in Kate's position here, she said that they're slightly shabby but not dated, so presumably...
What is that though, shabby but not dated?
I think it means well loved but not immaculate.
Maybe shabby chic, which is out of that is dated now.